And in studio, he's one of the most stout-looking dudes I've seen in a long time.
Yeah.
D-tackle, 3-time first-team All-Pro. Future Hall of Famer out of OH.
I.O.
Cam Heyward.
Thanks for having me, guys.
How are you, man?
I'm good.
We're trying to catch you up there. I was trying to catch you up with the situation with Diggs there because you did look confused. You had met Diggs before.
Yeah.
You know Diggs. You're friendly with Diggs. Diggs almost quit being a Cowboy earlier because he thought we beat COVID, so the COVID Cowboy put his cap down, almost put his lassos down, and he put a ball cap on.
Yeah,
in his football
didn't feel
toe.
right.
Yeah, and you didn't look nearly as good, by the way. This is kind of like when your dad shaves a mustache or something. You become a whole new person. Let's dive into it. Speaking of dad shaving mustache,
Yes.
Pittsburgh Steelers are going to look much different this year. Ben Roethlisberger.
Great
Dahn.
segue, by the way.
Thank you. I appreciate that. You come from a great lineage of absolute ballers. Your little brother is doing his thing right now at the Combine, I'd assume, going into the draft, and you're working for NFL Network. Thank you for stopping by here.
Dude, thank you for having me.
Let's talk about the Pittsburgh Steelers, though.
Yes.
Because this is one of the most storied franchises and programs in all of sport. Mike Tomlin, whenever his name was being talked about for USC, he said, hey, I'm the head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Like, this is one of the most prominent jobs in all sport. I will take no more, and basically go to hell. Pittsburgh Steelers organization doesn't have a lot of change. That's not something that happens. There's a lot of stability. Right. Now you're kind of staring down the inevitable. As one of the OGs on the team, what are your thoughts going in next year? And what do you think Tomlin's trying to portray to everybody? Like, hey, we'll figure this whole thing out.
Well, first of all, I think Mike T is trying to portray, why take care of kids when you can take care of grown men?
Yes. And recruit, too. Could you imagine having to text 17-year-old? I don't care if you're not coming. Like, that is.
Okay, I'm going to dock your pay. What else are you going to do?
Yeah, exactly.
But about the season, man, coming off the last season, losing Ben now, it's going to be interesting. You know, are they going to put all their trust in Mason or Dwayne, or we got to find somebody else?
And what do you think about Dwayne? We didn't know much about Dwayne. He got signed to the Steelers, right?
Well, he's a Buckeye, so I got to like him.
Hey, he's the Rock.
I like him a lot, but, you know. It's not for me to decide.
Yeah,
so.
And TJ told us the same thing, by the way. TJ was like, yeah, we have no idea, but it's not on us. But I feel like anybody that looks at your team because of you and because of TJ and because of everything on defense side of the ball, that team's going to win games. Like, that's just what's going to happen regardless. It's almost, here in Indy, we have a great team, but for whatever reason, just couldn't go on a run. In that locker room, you guys got to feel like, hey, we have a ready team to go on a Super Bowl run here, right?
Yeah, well, appreciate you, Indy, messing up that last game for us and getting us in the playoffs, too.
Yeah, huge. Thank you, Colts.
Yeah, there was a lot of things.
Yeah, everybody. Yeah, but hey, you're welcome, by the way.
Thank you. We didn't capitalize on it, but appreciate you guys. But you know, it's gonna be very interesting because we got TJ, you got Minka, we got a lot of seasoned vets on the defensive side of the ball, and then you got a guy like Najee and Deontay Johnson. You don't want to just start from scratch. You don't want to just go and say, you know, we're going to have a losing season, and that's not what the Pittsburgh Steelers do.
Yeah, what was Najee like? He seems
Najee's
awesome.
He is awesome. He doesn't know what a Christmas tree in his house is, but he's awesome.
Yeah, he told a story the other day. I forget who he was talking to. I think he was doing NFL Network work, and he said, like, yeah, I come from San Francisco. I went to Alabama. The humidity almost killed me. He said it almost killed me. He said it was 3 years it took me to get used to Alabama, and then now I go to Pittsburgh, and it's like, it's cold, and then snow comes out of nowhere, but it feels like he's a guy who's ready to get fed. Like, he's ready to go almost. Was there anything in practice, like, early that you're like, oh, this guy's a guy, or did you
I was pissed off myself because the first couple times I was trying to tackle him, and I missed, and then he shrugged me off, and I'm like, all right, like, this is a little different, but calm down. So next couple times I tried to get some licks in, but he kept avoiding me, and, you know, he's able to bounce off of everybody, and, you know, he just wants more football. He doesn't shy away from anything. Which
is great because nowadays you see a lot of scat backs, especially with the way the NFL has been, at least. Do you think the NFL is changing back to a more power game?
It's got to. You know,
well, how come? How come? Just because?
Because you get all these spread offenses and these little defensive players. Best thing to do is pound them into the ground with a big O-line and a big running back.
That's kind of the ripple effect, right? That's why everybody says it's cyclical because whenever the team started going spread it out, you had all the big bodies because they were ready for like a heavyweight fight. And then the little guys were able to just kind of get it. Like, you're a massive man, but doesn't you not look like you're incredibly nimble?
Oh, yeah.
And you showcase that. You're like a good hybrid, I think, for both molds of the old school football and the new school football. But once I started seeing the power teams just be able to plow linebackers that are much smaller than me. Like they're like 215, 225 now.
Their safety's moving down the linebackers. It's crazy now.
Because they have to be able to run.
Yes.
I think Pittsburgh and your defense would love if everybody went back to heavyweight football.
Oh, yeah. It slows down the game. The clock keeps going. If our offense stays on the field, I am happy on the sideline.
AFC North's a problem right now, dude.
Yeah.
Joey Burr seems to only be gaining confidence in the Bengals. They don't have a practice facility, but obviously they have.
That is wild.
Wild. Cam, listen. I speak about this all the time. You hear a lot of their fans, old school fans, like, stop making fun of our program or our organization. I'm like, I haven't heard one of their players tell me to stop talking about it. Yeah. Could you imagine not having an indoor facility?
Do you remember the Hard Knocks where they were walking across? You remember James Harrison walking across? Like, imagine him saying, I was with the Pittsburgh Steelers. I walked into our little indoor, and then now I got to go across the freaking street. This is ridiculous.
It's the NFL, and I think you're not putting this out about the Bengals. You're putting this out about the NFL as a whole.
No.
Like, hey, you got to get that thing. But that team, despite all that, getting real hot. Lamar Jackson, who knows what's going to happen over there? Yeah. Cleveland, legitimately, who knows what's going to happen out there? Tomlin said, the AFC North's like the kitchen. It's hot in the kitchen. It's always hot in the kitchen.
Right.
You've been in the game for so long in the AFC North. What are your thoughts on the change? It seems like it's really changing over there.
It changes every year. The crazy thing in our division is I think there hasn't been a repeat champion in our division. Every year it's somebody new. And so you better bring your stuff because everybody's coming for you.
What do you got in the offseason? Have you started your workouts yet? You never stop?
I started right back after I got back from the Super Bowl.
So you did stop for a couple weeks?
Yeah.
Just enjoy yourself, have a lot of what?
Why?
I had the kids with me.
No, yeah, but like chicken nuggets, we're talking pizza. Just getting after it?
Yeah, after it.
No workouts?
A little bit here and there.
What is the workouts now that you're back into it? What, are you on a diet, a strict diet?
Diet.
Yes?
Trying to just get back to fish and vegetables.
Are you serious right now?
I got to get down, bro.
Really?
I'll balloon up if I'm not careful.
Hey, me too. I go from 275 to 225 every offseason. I used to, basically. Is that something you have to be very diligent about, especially now you're getting older? What about the body? Do you have to do any of that type of...
I feel better when I do it. I'll say that. If I just continue to eat and eat, I feel terrible. Cam in March compared to Cam in July is way different.
But you have to be big. That was always like the offensive linemen who would always get so mad at themselves for being fat. They're like, oh, I'm so fat. I'm like, well, you have to be. Like, you literally, you have to be a big dude.
Well, shoot, when I first started, like, our average O-line was like 340, 330. Willie Colon, Chris Kimatu, Max Starks was like 360. Then we had backup guys who were like Trey Essex, who's pretty big. Trey Essex with Indy.
Yeah, he was at the Colts.
I think
good guy.
The small guy was Pouncey, and he was like 315.
Do you see that with a lot of, not just the Steelers' offensive line, but with the game getting faster, you're seeing smaller guys? Does that benefit you immensely, I assume?
Yeah, I love it. I love seeing the little centers. They're like 290 pushing it, and it's like, okay, you're about to get bulled the entire time.
What are the workouts? What do you do? What is, because you have to remain explosive, but you also have to be able to remain powerful. What do you do?
Man, it's time under tension. It's a lot.
What's that mean?
Just, doing squats, at the bottom, holding it for 4 seconds, and all the way up. Cole Haley, my guy, back home, he kills me every freaking day.
You go hard.
Yeah.
Have to.
Have to.
If
I'm not getting better, I'm getting worse.
Yeah, you're in there battling too. And
yes.
I would assume the mindset with every single lift, every single morning is like, if I don't do this, I'm going to get embarrassed. Because there's a chance you do that in the NFL. That can happen in the NFL, right?
Yes.
Quickly?
Yeah, I hope not quickly.
Not for you, but for other people. Like, whenever you first play with somebody, you're like, oh, this is going to be a long day for this person.
I think you got to learn the position before you can really start to elevate, because in our position, there's so much technique involved and so many little things that you continue to keep getting better and better. Once you master those things, you become even better.
They were talking about like Aaron Donald reading emotion and then like sliding his shade a little bit because of that. Is that just natural football IQ that comes from inside the liner experience, or what?
I think that's just, that's his homework. Understanding the formations, understanding where the back aligns, when the tight end's coming in, is he coming to chip him? All these things come into account when you're
Nobody, and I asked Will Compton this yesterday, and he's a special teamer, and I'm like, hey, Will, why do you think you made it? You're undrafted, and somebody else didn't. He was like, well, I started studying like every single play, and I started like the amount of football IQ that happens in the NFL. I don't think people understand. Even at like D tackle, you're in there lined up. How do you see all this? Because you're right, how do you see all this? That has to be something that like took time, or did you take to it like a fish to water?
Well, like shoot, for me, I didn't play my first 2 years really, and so for me, I had to learn everything going on around me. I had to know every position, and then once I learned that, I was like, okay, I know this side. Let me learn that side, and I started grouping everything together and understanding our formations and personnels. You know, it's understanding like a fake. You know, if you're going to run a fake, you're going to get all antsy and stuff. We know what's going to happen.
Oh, no! That's what Troy said. Troy said that my energy coming on the field. He knew it.
Bro, you're the only punter that goes crazy in a stadium. And they're too excited. And you're too excited.
Yeah. That's it was my fault. I mean, that was a walk-in game. It was a walk-in.
It was.
Against you guys. You remember how good I would have felt? Oh, my God. Back in Pittsburgh for the rest of my life. Oh, you guys, scored a touchdown against Steelers.
Bro, I remember one of the last times we played you, I think, oh, man, it was like one of my first times going in, and Coach tells me to go in. I run on the field. I trip right in front of Mike T, face planted, and I just look up at Mike T and he's like, you gonna get your ass in there or what?
What a moment. What a favorable moment. I didn't know you sat for the first couple of years.
Yeah.
So did it get loud? Did it get loud for you? Or in Pittsburgh fans are not necessarily like the most like patient bunch.
Oh, yeah. I was a bust.
That's what everybody called you?
Yes, I was a full-on bust.
Wow, how come? You think you weren't ready for it? Your body wasn't ready, or just an opportunity situation?
Bro, I was playing behind a team that just came off of losing the Super Bowl. They had two defensive ends, Brett Kiesel and Aaron Smith. They had a first-rounder behind him, and then they had Casey Hampton in the middle. I had to learn, and I'm fine with that. But
that had to be tough, though, right? That's tough. To hear that, especially because your dad, legend in the city, Pittsburgh, legendary city with the Hayward family.
Yeah.
I think like that, now that I'm thinking back about it, I do, like Pittsburgh's not a place that's like, oh yeah, we'll just wait around for this guy to figure it out and not take into account like the entire situation there. But those 2 years, vital to where you are right now to becoming a Hall of Famer?
Vital, depressing. That was a lot I had to deal with. Oh shit.
Yeah, you just brought up our set. Don't worry, Lesnar's headsets are up there still. We'll leave that on the ground for you forever. But those 2 years are a lot, huh?
Yeah, a lot. I had to learn a lot about myself at that time.
Mental calluses, though, from those 2 years?
Yeah. Now I look back at like rookies, I'm like, you guys come in and bitch about everything, and it's like, it's way easier now.
Because the rules and everything?
Rules, guys complain about practice. Practice isn't even that long now.
Hey, listen, you're a D tackle saying this. Because normally the D line room would be the loudest about the practices.
Bro, we don't do half the stuff we used to. You remember 2-a-days?
Yes. I was part of 2-a-days, and everybody, I always get lumped in with the younger class, though, and talking to the old people, like, oh, you have no idea. Well, I was a punter. I had to appear there.
I had to show up.
I had to show my face. I had to be there and do, okay.
It's funny, because I was right after the lockout, and so nobody knew the rules. They were like, oh, yeah, we're just going to do 2-a-days. And so they were like, yeah, they know they're not supposed to have 2-a-days, but
it was
the first time.
Remember they were asking for people's cameras, like, hey, we need your footage from your practice. Do you remember that? After the new CBA?
After this new CBA.
No. The one you and me went through. You came in right afterwards. They were asking for people's practice films, allegedly, because people were practicing too much when they were trying to set in the new rules.
Oh, wow. I don't remember that.
Really?
No.
Yeah, because
no one cared about the rookies back then.
No, not at all.
They saw Sam Bradford get his number. They were like, oh, we're going to take that away now.
Yeah, well, Matthew Stafford got drafted 221 picks ahead of me, and he got like $55 million upon signing. I got $37,000. Go ahead, Tom.
Cam, there's been a lot of talk from Tomlin and Colbert this offseason about getting back to the Steeler way, and I assume you don't want to be 75 yards down the field accidentally falling on Justin Herbert and stuff like that.
No.
Was like
punching
the run.
It wasn't a punch. Bro, calm it down. I just got done talking to. I just got done talking to him about it.
To Herbert?
Today?
Yes.
Yeah, he's not gonna say it because he was the one on the receiving end of the punt. I mean, you took that thing from all the way. Bang.
Okay, so I got on the ground. Okay, I'm running, right? And so, like, I land on him. and I'm trying to get up, and I stumble again because the guy pushes me in the back, and I go to catch myself. Okay. And we talked about it. He was like, I didn't even feel it. And I was like, okay. So,
he kind of took a shot at you.
Yeah.
Then.
Wow. And I was like, okay.
That was him alphaing you there a little bit.
You say what you want.
Sorry about that.
But the Steelers' way, like, you're not supposed to be downfield that far. Was the run defense? Was it because Tyson was out, Tuitt was out? Like, what was going on? Because in Pittsburgh we can't. Like, that's just
that gets stooges like him. All Yinzers get all pissed off.
Fired up.
Right down.
Yeah, as much as it pisses y'all off, how do you think I
trust
feel?
me.
That's what he's asking.
I mean, you were all over the place. So like, I know like you talked about being on the sideline, like offense, sure, go out there. Like you were running a lot this year.
Yeah, like it's funny because like before the season, I remember having talks about like trying to keep my numbers down, trying to get my snaps down. After Tyson and Tua got hurt, that went out the window. But you know, we got to get back to stopping the run. That's what we've always thrived in. You know, I think we understand that if we're going to be a good defense, we have to stop the run and then get after the pass. I look for guys like Tyson to come back, Tua to come back, Alex Highsmith to be even better, Devin Bush continue to grow.
TJ just playing. TJ's just getting for sacks. He's not playing the run at all.
TJ just beat TJ.
How did that? It's 2 seasons ago, counting this one as last season that we just finished up. Bud Dupree gets hurt, right? And you guys were killing. I mean, it was unbelievable.
Yeah.
And this year, Tyson and Tuitt get hurt. That becomes an entire thing. I assume you guys are just praying for some health, maybe next year.
Man,
That's everybody, by the way. Nobody talks about that. Health.
You got to get healthy at the right time, then win anything in this league.
I concur. Is that why you do all this shit that you're doing right now in the offseason?
Yeah. If you don't take care of your body in the offseason, obviously freak things can happen. Like Tyson was working out with me every single day. And then, week 2, I think it was like the 4th play, he like messed up his ankle. And he was like, oh, bro, I can't feel it. I'm like, what's going on? And like, it was like turned the other way.
Yeah, that's not great.
Yeah.
That's not great. You can't really do much about that. It's going to be hard to rehab that particular thing back. But I think that is something that isn't chatted about because they'll label somebody like, oh, he's fragile. That guy's fragile. It's like, well, what if that guy just had like 3 terribly unlucky situations happen? That can't happen on the field. That just never really gets chatted about, or people don't even give a fuck about ever.
Well, like I've had 2 big injuries in my life. And like one was in the Sugar Bowl of my senior year, and I was like, oh, damn, this is the worst freaking timing. Finished the game. They said it was a bruise. And then, like, a week after, I'm training for the combine, and they're like, yeah, I had Tommy John surgery.
Jesus.
Yeah.
So that's why ligaments are off,
Yeah.
right? That's what Ben just got, right? For his entire arm.
So I can throw a left-handed, but whatever. And then my other one in the Dallas, I think it was 2016, we're playing Dallas. I was going out to make a tackle, and my arm went back like this, and I pulled everything off the bone. And so told me it was a bruise again.
Yeah,
Still play with that.
Let's get you through these quarters here. Okay, we got a half left here, Cam. That's a bruise. We'll check that thing out tomorrow.
Yeah.
Is there anybody, when you get to the league, that you get a hold of and you're like, oh, that's a grown-ass fucking man there? And does that happen ever to you nowadays?
Nowadays, no.
That's good. Yeah, that's the goal, right? That's why you've been around so long, too.
But I remember, like, when you first get in the league, it's like you're seeing all these big cats. And, like, shoot, I was seeing, like, Orlando Pace come back to Ohio State. And you're like, damn, that dude is humongous. You're seeing Michael Orr blindside.
Yes.
Like, oh, I can't wait to play that dude. But, he's a tank. Joe Thomas was another guy. Joe Staley. Those guys were just legendary.
Yeah, when they got their hands on it.
Who was the guard from the Ravens that just retired?
Yonda was the guy.
Everybody says he's like the best.
Yonda is the best.
How come? Just because he was able to do everything?
Man, able to do everything. Didn't really fight. Didn't really do the extra stuff. It was just like, he's just going to beat your ass every play.
Hey, I'm just here to move you. In your division, too, staring down that, too. And then he moved from what? He was guard, then he was tackle, then he was other tackle, then he was other guard. He just flawless the entire way.
You can plug him in anywhere. And now I see he's like 240 pounds.
Not even. I think he's like 195, maybe.
Yeah,
that dude
small.
is tiny right now.
I saw it was like a news report, and it was like all he did was walk. I was like, bullshit. He's doing something.
No, he's cycling. I think he was a big time cycler.
He's cycling?
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
he's
so.
cycling. I think he's
You a
big-
cycler?
My ass doesn't like the seat.
Nah, I don't like that shit either.
I can't. It's uncomfortable. I
got the Peloton for my wife, and she was like, "Oh, you should try it." I tried it once, and they were like, "You need to stand up on it." I was like, "Nah, this ain't for me."
I would imagine that would be absolutely amazing. Go ahead, Ty.
Cam, I don't know if you saw. I think it was today. They're either presenting to the competition committee that not pass interference, but roughing the passer is going to be reviewable. For a guy like you, where you play so violent and so physical, like, is there anything you can do, or do you feel like because you are established in the league now, like you're not kind of getting some of these ticky-tack bullshit calls like a lot of these other D linemen are getting?
Man, I got one at the end of the season. It would have been my 11th sack. You know, me and TJ combined on the sack, and he's coming straight at me, full speed. What am I supposed to do? Just let him run me over? So I go to make the tackle. It's unnecessary roughness on a runner. Tyler Huntley was running the ball.
But then if you talk back or get upset, there's another 15 on top of it.
Oh, I've talked back plenty of times, and I've learned my lesson over
Are you a
here.
talker on the field?
Yes.
To offensive linemen.
Offensive linemen, refs, you name it, I talk.
Yeah. So what is the conversation like early with the refs to try to win them over? Then if you need to,
Oh,
hey,
yeah.
we got to have a problem here.
The funny thing is, I play good cop to TJ's bad cop.
Oh, so
TJ goes off on refs.
He's not happy.
I love it, though.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, I love that type of thing as well. You just try to keep it balanced, though?
Yeah. And then, offensive linemen, once they get me talking, it's like, it's a wrap from then on, because I'm just going to be in your ear the whole entire time.
Any good verbal joust with anybody?
Oh, I wouldn't say what I've said.
No, you just anybody that you don't have to tell me what was said. Joust, like is there anybody that had pretty good give and take for a good 4 quarters? Hey, this is a 4-quarter shit talk battle. You know how in shape you have to be, by the way, to talk shit for 4
Well,
quarters?
like, you get some of these O-linemen, and they could be kind of corny. Like, the one guy was like, I remember you like 10 years ago. I'm like, and? What's that supposed to do? Like, yeah, I'm going to whoop your ass for another 4.
Do you respond immediately to? Is it like exactly how you just explained it there?
Yes.
So you're just casual talking shit to people.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's amazing.
Well, like, you remember I used to hear about, like, Jordan, he would, like, start singing to him and, like, sing, like, you're getting nothing but the best from me and, like, all this crap. I'm like, damn, like, that's some, like, next level shit right there as you're dominating them on the court.
So is that your style?
No, I don't sing at all. I'm more of just, like, why are you even on the field? You shouldn't even be on.
Oh.
But I've had some guys, they'll say, you were on the practice squad last week. How are you even going to block me this week?
Yeah. And by the way, that mental edge, who knows what's going to happen? It might flip
yeah.
them into a better player. It might make them much worse. That's part of the game. I love it. That's why I like the mic'd ups when they come out. I feel like that's when you learn the most about people, in the mic'd ups.
No.
Yes.
No, the mic'd ups are
Pick
always.
through it. You got to pick through it.
Bert's over there right now. That's our PR guy. He's cut down so much of my mic'd ups. They're just all over the place.
Yeah, but I feel like in parts we'd be able to get that you are a shit talker. Like, you have to kind of pick through the terribleness, I think.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Connor.
Yeah, were you talking shit to Quentin Nelson when you picked him up and put him on Jacoby Brissett's knee and basically ruined the Colts season, or is that just one of those things?
What is we've already talked to him about this.
No, I know, but
That's 2 years ago.
I need to find out just to make sure. There's bad blood there.
Were you
maybe.
guys
There's
talking?
not bad blood.
Okay. There is kind of there for a bit. We were on a run. All right, so my happiness went very much down. But he's going to be known as one of the greatest guards in the history of football.
Yeah.
You are going to end up in the Hall of Fame from being a draft bust and everybody into the Hall of Fame. I mean, 2 Titans battling like that, leading up into that week. Is there more to it whenever you got somebody like that?
Mike T did that.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He's talking to me and Bud throughout the week, and he's like, they got number 1s over there. And I'm like, Mike T, we got number 1s too. So, don't just count us out yet. And so we went into that game. We're going to be ready for him this time.
And Tomlin talks a lot of shit, right?
All the time.
That's his motivational.
Yes. He always talks about us sports bitching, but he does the best job of just getting under our skin and just, I remember one time, we talk about guys getting folded back when we talk about they're on skates.
Yeah.
And then he shows a clip of like everybody who's on skates and then puts them in like, you remember the movie ATL?
Yes.
He puts the guys in skates. He shows like a poster of it. And so like we saw that.
Posterizing guys.
Yes, making us feel terrible.
And then I've heard there's numerous situations. Like Boswell told me one time when Boswell was either, I don't know if it was the year he was not doing great or he was doing great and he had maybe a miss and then he was back to being good. I don't remember what it was.
Right.
Works both times. I guess Tomlin came over him Hey, Boz, I love him, man, but like, if Janikowski's available, I'm gonna have to fucking like something like that, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Like I've heard he's just like the coolest dude to everybody. Like Boz can get it.
Boz gets it a lot.
Yeah, well, he's kicker. You know, Boz
You know,
has to fight back at some point.
He's got to fight fucking Tucker from Baltimore.
Oh, Justin.
You
Yeah.
know, Mike T's always talking about Tucker. Oh. He's like, Tucker's 1A, Boz, you're 1B.
Oh my God.
But Boz always backs it up. He's like, yeah, but you got me, though.
Yeah, that is true. And Boz is unbelievable. That entire Evan McPherson's over there. Tucker's over there, and Boz. That is the best kicking division in football. And I like to wait till this year. Tomlin definitely going to be like Tucker 1A. Money Mac, Evan McPherson by 1B there.
Boz is my one. Don't worry about Boz.
Hey,
Thank you, boss.
I love Boz, by the way.
Yeah.
Super cool guy. How about Presley Harvard? You guys got a new punter in there this past season.
He's Good Burger. I call him Good Burger.
Welcome.
No, he's just Good Burger.
Good guy?
Yeah.
Love him.
Yeah, I love him.
I hope he continues to get better and better. He has so much like problem. He bombs the fucking ball.
Bro, I remember watching his tape at Georgia Tech.
Yeah.
And he was killing it. I think he had like a 70-yard punt.
Yes, and then he would throw a 30-yard ball, and then he
Yeah.
would tackle somebody, and then he would go hang clean like 365.
He looks like a nose tackle,
Yeah, well,
but
he's gonna have to work
he
on
can
that.
kick.
I think he's gonna have to work on that personally. But
Why don't you get him in the gym?
well, because I used to look like that. I mean, I used to look like that, and then I got into shape, and it was like, oh, I should have, because I didn't want to break, or I didn't want to fix what wasn't broken. You know,
Right.
like eating pizza, drinking beer, like having a bad body, like the ball's still going far. So like, I'm not gonna change that.
You
But-
sound like all the old kickers back in the
Yeah,
day.
I remember I did two of it. Hey, I was part of people forget that. But yeah, I just think that's going to inevitably happen at some point. But he's awesome, as are you, man. Thank you so much for stopping by.
Yeah.
I appreciate that, man.
Appreciate you having me.
And I feel like I've asked you this before, and you know, I apologize if it is. That Steelers organization growing up in Pittsburgh, it is the closest to a college, it feels like, in my eyes. The Steelers, and because it is the amount of stability, I think is what Tomlin told us. Like, yeah, the guys come back, all the coaches are still there, the calls are still there.
Yeah.
Do you feel that and recognize that whenever you're in there?
I love it, man.
Yeah.
I feel it every time I walk into that building. It is a joy to be there, to see the history that's already been set, and to be a part of that. You know, you want to do your best every single time.
And Yinzers are going to show up for you.
Yeah.
I think that's real. Now, granted, they called you a bust, too. I mean, that's
Pretty wild.
They have
I don't
high
remember that.
expectations.
I don't remember calling
This
him
fucking guy, you should have heard him.
You were probably on there, too.
There's a bunch
your
of
name off that helmet.
there's a bunch of Italians from Plum that were probably on the internet, still are going to town. They just don't have-
I'm a big positive. Like, you know what? I thought it was Aaron Smith and Kiesel. I mean, it's great too to learn behind. I thought it was
Yeah.
positive.
Yeah, you didn't say that. That's only what you're saying right now. We appreciate you, man. Really do.
Appreciate
Thank you for
you.
stopping by. Good luck on NFL Network. We can't wait to watch you.
Yeah.
Can't wait to see you go into the Hall of Fame. Can't wait to see what the team is next year. But they know they got a studded D tackle, all pro, ladies and gentlemen, Cam Heyward.
Appreciate you.